If you've been watching us, you will know that we've already tested Snapdragon X Elite and Snapdragon X Plus laptops on our channel. But you know, the most affordable Snapdragon laptop chip, the Snapdragon X, is something that we hadn't tested till date, and I wanted to solve that problem today. And therefore we have this, the HP OmniBook 5 with the Snapdragon X chip. Let's find out how good or bad the Snapdragon X is in context of the HP OmniBook 5. Alright, if you're watching us for the first time, I'm Arshad. This is Trakin Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. Now, since the Snapdragon X is what I'm most excited about, let's talk about the specs first. So what you have is the base variant of the Snapdragon X inside the OmniBook 5, and it has 8 Qualcomm Orion CPU cores, it has 8 threads and boost clock speeds of up to 3 GHz. Paired with it is an Adreno GPU with 1.7 teraflops of power, and you also do get the Hexagon NPU, which has about 45 TOPS of power for AI workloads. You also get 16 GB of LPDDR5X RAM type, and that's clocked at 8448 megatransfers per second, and get a very fast 1 TB PCI Express Gen 4 SSD as well. Now let's talk about some performance benchmarks, and this one's got fairly decent horsepower for even being a base Snapdragon X chip. So in benchmarks like Geekbench 6, Cinebench R24 and Geekbench AI, it actually holds its ground and it matches the performance of the Intel Core 5210H, which by the way is a 115 watt chip, and the Snapdragon X actually runs at 30 watts. And the Snapdragon X also beats out CPUs like the Ryzen 5 7535HS and the Core i7-1370P. And the thermals are really well managed too. It runs fairly cool and it stays whisper quiet, by the way. Not once during our testing period did we even get to hear the fans at all. So if you're doing regular tasks like, writing scripts, opening multiple Chrome tabs, all of that, this functions absolutely fine, and the OmniBook 5 doesn't flinch at all. In fact, we even ran our 100 Chrome tabs open test and it passed with flying colors. And considering DaVinci Resolve has native support for Snapdragon based Windows machines, it runs flawlessly. And you also do get support for Photoshop, and nowadays we're running this test where we load up like 100 4K photos at once. Again, the Snapdragon X handled it with ease. Now a lot of you must be wondering, where's the Adobe Premiere Pro support for Windows on ARM? Well, it's 100% coming, don't worry about that. Adobe has promised that, and they're going to bring some AI shenanigans on top of it, so it could come with some very interesting performance upgrades. Now of course, Windows on ARM is still not very matured enough if you're a gamer, but yes, Snapdragon is working with Epic to bring Fortnite support to their chipsets. However, real gamers are still waiting for the Valo support. Snapdragon, when are you getting it? Alright, let's talk about the AI stuff, and the OmniBook 5 actually supports all of Microsoft's Copilot Plus features, and there are a bunch of them to talk about. For example, there's co-creator in Paint, improved Windows search, live captions, even in Japanese by the way, super resolution and background erase in the Photos app, Windows Studio effects for meetings, and yes, the most talked about feature, Windows Recall, is also supported. We even tested DeepSeek R1 through Ollama, which is a 1.5 billion parameter model, and the 45 TOPS of NPU power is really coming in handy because the OmniBook 5 actually managed to breeze through it. Basically, if you want to do some AI queries on device with on-device processing itself, this should handle it fine. As for connectivity, you get support for Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3. Nothing to complain here. The one thing I like about the HP OmniBook 5 is that it's got a very minimal design, something that I'm really a fan of. It's a no-frills ultrabook with no loud branding and no flashy logos. Very clean. The build quality also feels very solid, especially for an HP OmniBook, because it brings the same DNA and character as the HP Envy and the EliteBook. And the laptop just weighs about 1.3 kilograms. Of course, there's no military standard certification, but one thing I like is that it definitely passes my one finger lid lift test with ease. And the other thing about the build quality is that since it's made entirely of aluminium, it has very little top lid flex and very little keyboard flex, much better than many other laptops that we've tested in this price range. And man, if you look at this 14-inch variant of the OmniBook 5, what I like about it is that it is just 12.7 millimeters thin. But that slim form factor definitely does come with trade backs. You do not get an SD card slot, and you also do not get an HDMI port. What you get are 2 USB Type-C ports, 1 USB Type-A port, and a combo audio jack. Now talking about the keyboard, I do like the keyboard primarily because it is one of the better keyboards that have come from HP stables. Because the key travel in particular is actually very good, and the key spacing is kind of perfect for my big fingers. And of course, you also do get wide backlighting, so if you're, working in the night, then that's definitely helpful. So overall, the keyboard experience felt something like what you would get in a more expensive HP Envy series laptop. And the trackpad is, well, It's big, and of course it's got all of the Windows gestures that you would expect from a Windows machine, and it works reliably too. But my only gripe is that it's not glass, it's actually plastic, and it surely does feel like a missed opportunity for a otherwise very premium laptop. Now, one of the biggest highlights of the OmniBook 5 definitely has to be the display experience, because it's a 14-inch machine, and I kind of feel like 14 inches is like the perfect laptop size, by the way. And on top of that, it's an OLED panel with 1920 by 1200p resolution as well. You get a 16:10 aspect ratio, the color reproduction is very good, and more importantly, the viewing angles are pretty nice. I mean, that is something that I, don't find on IPS LCD monitors, and this OLED monitor actually is very good. By the way, for color reproduction, you do get 95% DCI-IP3 color gamut support, but the peak brightness is 300 nits. Now, 300 nits indoors is perfectly viable, but like most other laptops in this price range, if you do take it outdoors, then the sunlight eligibility is not going to be great. Also note that if you're looking for HDR support, that's not going to be there because it's a 300 nits display, so you do not get support for YouTube or Netflix HDR on this machine. Now, the webcam is a 1080p unit, and it's a very good quality webcam because you do get AI enhancements, and more importantly, the Snapdragon X ISP actually ensures that the image quality looks very clean. And there's also a privacy shutter like most other laptops in this price range do give you. And after testing many laptops with really average or sometimes even really bad quality speakers, we finally have one that doesn't disappoint. Now, what you get are two downward firing speakers, and they sound pretty rich and can get decently loud too. Take a listen to it for yourself. Alright, now let's talk about the battery life. Now, what you get is a 59 watt-hour battery, and you do get a 65 watt USB-C charger bundled with the laptop itself. Now, you can use that USB-C charger to actually charge your other devices like your phone or your tablet, which supports PD, which is of course good, but more importantly, the battery life itself is also very good because of course the Snapdragon X is a very efficient chipset. So what we got was about 12 to 13 hours of screen on time, and this usage was not very heavy, of course, but we did use a bunch of Chrome for research. We also used a lot of Google Docs for writing, and Tanish was checking some camera samples. So for a Windows machine, this is very, very good battery life, and more importantly, the idle drain overnight was just 3%, which is fantastic. So if you want to buy the HP OmniBook 5, you can get it for about 74,000 rupees. And for that price, what you get is a very good build quality. I really like the design of the machine actually. You also do get a very good quality OLED panel. You get a good keyboard and trackpad combo. You also get up to 1 TB of storage plus 16 GB of LPDDR5X RAM. And of course, Snapdragon X offers very dependable CPU, GPU, NPU performance, and more importantly, very good efficiency with great battery life. So Windows on ARM, of course, is building itself to be the future slowly and steadily, and the HP OmniBook 5 is one of the first ones to actually showcase the best form of it, or at least close to the best form of it. But do note that you do have more affordable Snapdragon based laptops in the market. However, you will still not get that OLED goodness and of course the premium build of the HP OmniBook 5. So what do you guys think of the HP OmniBook 5? Let me know in the comments. Would you buy one or not? I'd like to know your thoughts. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.